Traveling with pets around Western Australia, a popular choice for road trippers. I drove 2,500 kilometres from Bunbury to Broome in Western Australia with my cat, and I don't know who was more nervous, me or him. Key points: as West Australians travel within their own state, many of them are taking their pets with them. Sven the cat made the 2,500 kilometres journey by car from Bunbury to Broome. To stay up to date with latest top stories, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the button above this video. Accommodation providers have seen all kinds of pets on the road over the years, including goats and guinea pigs. Ahead of the journey, people were asking me, why not fly him up, or can you leave him in Bunbury? But I pushed on, strapped Sven into a carrier in the back seat of the car, and filled the boot with everything we would need. Most people filled their cars with fishing gear and beach toys, but my car was stocked with cat food, a pet tent and litter box that we used for toilet stops, and a cat-sized lead and harness. As it turns out, a road trip with a pet is a journey many West Australians are undertaking, and one many have done in the past. Ian Marshall is working and traveling around regional Washington with his dog Coda. It didn't take me too long to run into fellow pet owner Ian Marshall, who was enjoying the sunshine with his 10-year-old dog Coda. Mr. Marshall left Perth for a working holiday in the country 2 months ago and told me he never considered leaving his dog behind. It was never a factor of we're not going with the dog, it was always in the planning that me and my wife and Coda was coming with us, and everything was planned around that, he said. Open the car door and boom, she jumps in, let's go camping. Many people are traveling in regional Washington at the moment and taking their dogs with them. Coda hasn't been lonely on the family trip. Mr. Marshall says lots of travelers are taking their animals along for the ride. Tourism Research Australia's latest visitor survey showed more than 1 million intrastate tourists visited Australia's northwest in the year leading up to March, so it wasn't a surprise to see many people on the road and many dogs too. So people take dogs on the road, what about other pets? I did get some strange looks taking a cat on the journey with me. A cat on a lead at a road stop probably wasn't something most people would see every day. However, speaking to country accommodation providers, Elle realized it was not unheard of to take a cat on the road. I was warned to keep him inside or risk a repeat of the runaway cat Gandalf in Point Samson, a legendary tale in the small coastal Pilbara town. Accommodation providers say it's not that unusual to take a cat on a road trip. One local was happy to fill me in on the story of Gandalf. He was the cat who escaped on a journey from Darwin to Perth and spent 2 months evading capture. We were just feeding him. When we worked out where he was, everyone in town was looking for him, she recounted. It took us a few months, but we got him back to his owners. I kept Sven close after I heard that story. Parrots, guinea pigs, cats, and goats. The tales of West Australians traveling with their pets are endless. Any accommodation provider who takes pets has a story or two to tell. Cindy Barrett runs a caravan park and motel in Carnarvon, 900 kilometres north of Perth, and after almost 2 decades in the industry, she's seen it all. Cindy Barrett runs a motel and caravan park in Carnarvon and has seen people bring their birds, goats and guinea pigs trips. We've had parrots and we've had guinea pigs, and we've had cats, she said. We had a lady turn up with goats in a horse float. I was surprised to hear someone had taken their goats on the road and had to know more. She had a sort of temporary fence that she could put up in the little corner of the park, and she actually brought everything in with her, Mrs. Barrett said. 18 years ago, Mrs. Barrett said her caravan park was the only place in town that took pets, but now it has become more common. We started it off, she said. We used to have about half the park full of people traveling with dogs, but then the other parks heard about it, so they started being pet-friendly too. One woman even took her pet goats on a trip in a horse float. Even though there are more accommodation providers willing to take pets now, it's still not commonplace, which makes it tricky to travel with a pet, particularly an indoor cat. However, Sven was the perfect travel companion. He didn't utter a peep from the back seat. He looked on with wonder as the trucks rolled past at rest stops, and even days after reaching Broome he still hops in his carrier every morning, as if to say, where next?